So the stick figure just exploded the hammer, and now the cursor is going to use the leftover stick to take some swings at the stick figure, which he'll dodge, and draw another bomb to destroy the stick. Then he's going to draw a missile launcher that will destroy the whole stage. So let's put in some keys for the next pose of the cursor and stick. Before it swings, it'll need to toss it up so it's holding it by the end. So let's make the pose of it reared back. Then the end of the swing. And let's do the pose for the stick figure where he's jumped up to dodge. Then the cursor swings upward. And at this point, the stick figure will be down here getting ready to draw another bomb. And before that, we'd better put a landing pose. Then the stick will come back this way for another big swing, which will come down here. And the stick figure will have dodged and dropped the bomb on the way. So now the cursor doesn't have the stick anymore. And maybe the cursor gets knocked away across the stage. Oh, let's delete the explosion guidelines. Don't need that anymore. And at that point, the stick figure will have ended up back here and prepare to draw the missile launcher. So he's got to draw this faster than it takes the cursor to recover and attack him again. So let's try to make the simplest design we can, using as few lines as possible. And then the missiles will look like this when flying. And then these will be his bombs. He needs to start drawing right away, so let's get that and him in position. Before we worry about the drawing animation for all those things, let's in between what we have so far. We left off with the throw and we need to in between the fall, so I'll make a pose here. Then another as he's just about to contact the ground. Then we need to cushion into his crouch, so we need an in-between here. Then when he jumps to dodge the swing, there will need to be a crouch in anticipation of that jump. Then him on the way up. Then after the peak of the jump, he comes back down, just one leg touching down because he's going to crouch forward. Then another pose as he's bringing his brush up to draw. Let's make sure to make this bomb a symbol. Then after the drawing, he'll come back to dodge the swing, at which point he'll have the bomb in his hand. Then after the pose of him dropping the bomb, he takes a hop backward. Actually, let's make this his contact pose, so his feet are in the right position. Then, since this motion is so fast, I'm going to go back through and do another round of in-betweens, so it's on ones. Well, now the fall is a little slow, and actually I want him to have a few more frames in the throwing pose and then fall more quickly. So I'll remove this frame from the fall and shift this pose down instead. Then I'll put in another in-between just after the throw. And then also adjust all these poses to favor the top position more. That will make the fall look faster. Now let's watch it. And yeah, that's much better. Just one more in between for more cushion on landing. Great, now I'll in between his jump to dodge the first swing. Let's do another pose for the stick so we have a sense of where that's going to be. Then I'll add an in-between at the top of the jump. Then I'm going to offset the legs so they're moving at slightly different rates. That will give us some nice overlapping action. Then I in between the crouch. And let's adjust this arm so there's some drag as he comes down. Yeah, I think that looks better. Let's check everything we've done so far. Okay, I think I'm going to make that drawing pose more extreme just because it looks cooler. And adjust the in-betweens. And you know what? To avoid the time it would take for this arm to grab the bomb, maybe he could flick it up with the paintbrush hand. I'm going to put the bomb on a different layer since it will move on its own after the flick. Then on the next pose, he'll have his brush up here after the flick, and the bomb will be traveling upward. So we don't need the bomb on this pose, and the arms should be different. Then let's key the trajectory of the bomb. That's nice because it can just fall and hit the stick as it's swinging. Now I think I want to animate the drawing of the bomb itself. I'm just going to animate it on the main timeline this time. I erase frame by frame, then reverse the frames to get the drawing animation. Then I'm going to cut and paste the brush arm to a separate layer. I'll do the frames for the brush first. Then that actually needs to be on a lower layer, so it's behind the stick figure. Now I'll draw the arm on each frame. And to do that right, I need some motion in the body as he's reaching. I really only need those couple poses. Then I can finish the arm. And this is where the flick happens, so I'll move these frames up to make it faster. Great. Now let's go into the bomb and give it some sparks. I'll draw the frames for the spark animation. We won't worry about the fuse burning down on this one. Then let's add classic tweens. And I think we need one more in between on the flick where the arm is delayed coming up. Then I'll continue to in between the stick figure hopping back. And it looks like the brush should be in the other hand. So I'll change these poses around. Now let's in between the cursor taking its swings. First the part where he tosses it up. I'll just position a bunch of keys by hand. It goes up and the cursor moves down to catch it at the end. Let's make sure to move the anchor point to where the cursor is so it will swing right when we tween it. I need to set the ease on all of these. And then this is the point where the anchor point switches, so I'll have to do the in-between by hand. So down here, this is supposed to be a horizontal swing, so we need a way to make the stick's path look like it has some depth. So I'm going to redraw the stick as a big swoosh shape. Then same thing on the follow through. And I'll replace the stick at the bottom of the swing with a swoosh 2. Now to improve that even more, I can add a gradient to the tail of the swoosh. So I'll draw a line to divide off the section that is the stick. Select the tail portion and change the color from solid color to gradient. Change the end color from white to black and lower its alpha to 0. Then I'll press the F key to switch to the gradient transform tool to position the gradient how I want it. Then select the outline and delete it. There. I'll do that with the other ones too. I'll redraw this one better first. Then make the tail a gradient. Same thing with the last one. And I'll also round out the stick portion so it has more depth. Then I'll do some manual in-betweening to transition out of those swoosh drawings back to the regular stick. Then just before the swing, I'll shorten the stick to transition into it. Okay, that looks good. Then I'll use the same technique for the next swipe. Cool. Then the next swipe, and it's actually going to hit the bomb this time. Now it needs to explode, and maybe we can reuse the explosion symbol we already made. We just need to figure out which direction to rotate it. Probably upward with the direction of the swing is best. And tween the cursor being knocked back. So that's pretty good, but I think we can improve the timing. There should be less of a pause before the third swing. So I'm going to have the second swing end up at the top and slow down before coming down for the third swipe. Yeah, that timing feels better to me. Just some final adjustments. And there we go. So the stick's been destroyed. Next he needs to get right into drawing the missile launcher, and we'll do that in the next video.